If you've ever sat at the dinner table watching your child struggle with homework and thought, I know something is wrong, but I have no idea what it is, this video is for you. Because that feeling, knowing something is off but not being able to name it, is one of the most common things I hear from parents. And it makes complete sense because from the outside, all of the different reasons a child struggles at school looks the same. It all looks like them just not trying. But here is what I've learned over 10 years of tutoring and working with over 500 families across Sydney. There is almost always one specific root cause underlying the struggle. And once you find it, everything changes. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most common root causes I see in students, how to spot which one is showing up for your child, and exactly what to do about each one. I'm Justine, founder of Compass Tutoring, and if this is your first time here, welcome. I share practical, non-jargon advice for parents who want to actually understand their child and what's going on with their child's learning so that they can take the next step with confidence and clarity. Let's get into it. Before I walk you through the 5 root causes, I want to say one thing clearly. None of these mean your child is behind forever. None of them mean they are not smart enough. And none of them mean you have done something wrong as a parent. They mean your child is waiting for the right approach. And the right approach always starts with the right diagnosis. So here are the 5 root causes that I look for first. Root cause number 1, a foundational gap. This is the one I see most often, and it's also the one that is most commonly missed. Here's how it works. Learning builds on itself. Every time a new concept in maths or English or science is taught, it sits on top of something that came before it. When a concept from earlier years was never really understood, everything built on top becomes unstable. Here is a real example. A student comes to me struggling with Year 8 algebra. The parent assumes it's the algebra that's the problem. I go back and find a fractions concept from Year 5 that was never really properly looked into. The algebra was never the problem. Foundation was. Here's how to spot a foundational gap in your child. They were fine, even good, up until a certain year. Then suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, everything became hard. That turning point almost always marks the year a foundational concept was not fully grasped. The fix is not more algebra. The fix is going back, finding the exact gap, and filling it properly. Once that happens, the Year 8 content often falls back into place quickly. Root cause number 2, a confidence issue that looks like a capability issue. This is one of the most heartbreaking things I see in sessions because the child believes something about themselves that is simply not true. They believe they are bad at maths. They believe they are not a reader. They believe they are just not smart enough for this. And that belief becomes the barrier. Here's the thing about confidence issues. They do not look like confidence issues from the outside. They look like not trying. They look like giving up. They look like attitude. But what is actually happening is this. The child has tried, felt like they failed, tried again, felt like they failed again, and has now decided that trying is not worth the risk of feeling that way one more time. Here's how to spot a confidence issue. Your child shuts down before they even start. They say things like, I can't do this, I'm dumb, or I'm just not good at that subject. They do significantly better at home than they do in an exam or a classroom setting. They try hard in private, but avoid performing in front of others. The fix for a confidence issue is not harder content. It's rebuilding the belief first. In my sessions, I always find something the student can do well, and we start there because a small win early in the session changes everything about what is possible after it. Root cause number 3, weak study habits and no real system. This one shows up a lot in the transition from primary school to high school, and it's completely understandable why. In primary school, learning is largely structured for the child. In high school, students are expected to manage their own time, their own revision, their own organization, and no one ever actually teaches them how to do it. So what you get is a student who's sitting at the desk for hours every night and absorbing almost nothing, because sitting at a desk is not learning and highlighting notes is not studying. Here's how to spot a study habits issue. Your child spends a lot of time on homework. The marks don't reflect the effort. They revise the night before a test and cannot recall anything in the exam. They have no consistent routine, and every study session feels like starting from scratch. The fix is teaching them an actual system, how to break content into chunks, how to use active recall strategies instead of passive reading to study, and how to space their revision so information actually sticks. Root cause number 4, an attention or a focus issue. I want to be clear about something here. I'm not talking about diagnosing anything in particular. I'm talking about what I observe in sessions. Some students find it genuinely hard to sustain focus long enough for information to stick. The distraction might be internal an active mind that jumps between ideas. Or it might be environmental, too much noise, too many screens nearby, an uncomfortable workspace. Here's how to spot an attention or a focus issue. Your child starts homework but rarely finishes it without multiple redirections. They can tell you they read the chapter but can't tell you a single thing about what they just read. They rush through the work to get it done rather than to understand it. They perform very differently depending on the environment that they're in. The fix is almost never medication or diagnosis. Most of the time, it's a simple environmental change and session structures that matches how that particular child learns. Shorter focus bursts, movement breaks, and one task visible at a time. Root cause number 5, an emotional or a well-being barrier. This is one of the most important ones on the list and the one most overlooked. A child who is anxious, stressed, or overwhelmed, or going through something difficult at school or at home cannot learn at full capacity. The emotional brain and the learning brain share resources. So when the emotional brain is working overtime, the learning brain does not get what it needs. I've worked with students whose marks dropped significantly, not because of an academic gap, but because of friendship issues, transitions, family changes, or anxiety about the future. Here's how to spot an emotional or a well-being issue. A sharp change in attitude towards school that does not match their academic history. Complaints about stomach aches or headaches before school, increased irritability around school topics, a previously engaged student who has now become withdrawn. The fix here often involves a conversation before any tutoring at all, because if the emotional barrier is not addressed first, no amount of academic support will help. So there you have it, 5 root causes: a foundational gap, a confidence issue, weak study habits, an attention issue, and an emotional barrier. Now, here is the most important thing I want you to take away from this video. Most children have one primary root cause, and when you treat the right cause, progress happens much faster than most parents expect. The reason most tutoring doesn't work is not because the tutor is unqualified or the student is not trying hard enough. It's because the root cause was never properly diagnosed. More hours, more worksheets, more pressure on top of the wrong problem will never get the result you're hoping for. What gets the result is finding the right cause first and then building the right support around it. If you're watching this and you recognize your child in one of these 5 root causes, but you're not sure which one fits best, I've put together a free resource called the Parent Clarity Assessment. It's a simple 5-minute assessment that walks you through the 7 areas of your child's learning and gives you a clarity score and a specific first step that you can take. The link is in the description below. And if you're ready to have a real conversation about what is going on for your child specifically, we offer a free discovery call. The link is also in the bio. If this video was helpful, please subscribe. I publish videos like this every fortnight, and every single one is designed to give parents more clarity, more confidence, and a clearer path forward for their child. I'll see you in the next one.